of unarmed combat aerial vehicles have been increasingly used since 2001. These drones, as they're otherwise known, have increasingly been used in the context of the global war against terror and in counterinsurgency operations worldwide, outside the regular framework of international armed conflict. Well, joining me today to look into this further is the Professor of International Relations at Webster University Geneva, Alexandra Valtraus. Welcome, Alexander. Well, let's look first at the conference you're organising. It's the 9th edition of the Security Forum on Drones and Killer Robots. Why a conference on drones in Geneva?
Well, it is a very important topic for Geneva. Our keynote speaker is going to be Christoph Heinz, who is the special reporter at the Human Rights Council on extrajudicial killings. And of course, what you have been talking about in the spectrum of the global war on terror, the use of these unmanned combat aerial vehicles has been very problematic. But also in Geneva, we have UNIDIR, the United Nations Institute for Disarmament Research. We have the Disarmament Conference. And of course, we have the International Committee of the Red Cross. All are very much interested in what happens with regards to the ethics, the ethical use of drones.
What are the issues with drones and autonomous weapon systems?
The first one is ethical. It's an ethical question. Can you really wage war without actually engaging soldiers and putting soldiers into an armed conflict? I guess this is the first question that needs to be raised. Can you use these drones safely? I mean, what are the risks involved in the use of these systems, especially as we get into a system of proliferation? Right now, the United States and a few other countries have these these armed drones. What will happen in 10 or 20 years when you have 6, 10, 20 different countries able to use these drones?
Defence budgets are being reduced in many countries, and drones are obviously quite an expensive, high-tech piece of equipment. So can defence budgets afford them?
Drones are costly. This is true, this is correct. But now if you start comparing them with manned combat aircraft, you have to say that drones are significantly more cost-effective. And in particular, if you look at the autonomy of these systems, for example, a surveillance drone is today capable of remaining 24 hours, 48 hours on station. If you needed to replace these drones, these surveillance drones, by manned reconnaissance aircraft, you would probably need 4 or 5 of these aircraft. Each one of these aircraft is probably 2, 3, or 4 times as costly as the drones.
What is the outlook for the drone market?
Right now, there are 195 different companies that are involved in manufacturing equipment and complete systems of drones. So this is very much a booming market. If you look at the military market, or the market for military drones, we're talking about a $7 billion market. And what is extremely recent in terms of the developing market, that is the civilian applications of drone, which today is something like $5 billion in terms of market. What we can expect is that by 2020, we will most probably double that market share. The United States represents 50% of this market, but of course we're seeing an opening, and all sorts of different companies, all sorts of different countries are very interested in developments in this sector.
And are there any particular signs to look out for?
Definitely. I think everything that is developing in the civilian uses of drones is going to be very interesting. I'm thinking of police, traffic control, for example, disaster relief control, working with ambulances, working with forestry services, working with mapping services. So there's all sorts of civilian applications, and of course all of the leisure and photographic developments of drones. This is certainly one thing. The other thing is that so far we've been talking only about aerial drones, and we're seeing a very substantial development in land systems and undersea systems. To give you just a couple of numbers, when the British forces, when the German forces were in Afghanistan, we're talking about contingents of 3,500 for the British, 5,000 for the German Bundeswehr. Well, each of them had more than 1,000 remotely piloted vehicles. So we're seeing a generalization of the use of drones, not only in the air, but also terrestrial drones.
The development of drones is certainly a really interesting topic. Thank you so much for talking with me today, Alexander.
Thank you.
Well, that's all from us here at Dukascopy. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to keep clicking back. Bye for now.